letting go of the need to control others' beliefs, opinions, or actions towards you. If they question your intentions, let them. Don't try to convince them otherwise. If they think you got lucky in your business with money or relationship, let them. Let them have opinion without allowing it to shake you to your core and rattle your self-belief. Instead, focus on the people who really see you, who really value you and celebrate you. Letting them also frees you from frustration, resentment, and anger of trying to change things. And when you really own that as a core principle, it will give you the ability to respond to situations more calmly, make more thoughtful decisions, and it will end up freeing you in your life. Back to another episode of the show. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Thanks for tuning in. My hope is that today's topic is going to free a lot of people, maybe give a lot of people some peace in their life, because in a world dominated by social norms, peer pressure, virtue signaling, and the constant pursuit of attention and approval, there is a theory that presents the opposite. A theory that we don't need to do any of those things, that we don't need to try and control or force. It's a belief that is what's for you will be for you, and what's not won't. This is known as the let them theory. Now, we've tried to find where this concept came from originally and credit the original writer, but could not find anyone specifically or any specific author. The first mention of this theory was in Europe in 2010, 2011, 2012. And then as of most recently, Mel Robbins talked about this theory. There are various self-help authors, philosophers, and psychologists who've written about this similar idea. It just doesn't appear to be tied to one particular originator. But that said, the let them theory is a general concept, a mindset, a philosophy that encourages us to focus more on self-acceptance and not on the validation and the acceptance of others. It encourages us to focus more on being authentic and true to ourselves and not trying to morph and change to fit into some mold or to some crowd or your friend group. This theory revolves around the idea of freeing yourself from even needing others' validations, other people's opinions, or the pressures of society, or even those acceptance of your peers. To be unapologetically you, regardless how others may perceive you. The theory's principles are based on real, valid concepts that are related to personal growth, self-empowerment, and emotional freedom. So now that I teed up what it is, let's unpack how these core principles can empower you, how they can free you from the opinions of others, how you can bring more joy and peace into your life. The first principle is self-acceptance. This is one of the core pillars of the let them philosophy. When you embrace who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, you become less reliant on that external validation. It literally frees you from the anxiety and from self-doubt that often come with trying to fit into others' expectations. Self-acceptance empowers you to make better decisions that align with your values and your desires rather than seeking approval from other people. So that's the first one. The second one is authenticity. And I know this is a buzzword as of late, but what does it really mean? Living authentically to who you are means being true to your values, your beliefs, your desires. When you really embrace this philosophy in its true form, you'll end up releasing the need to conform to other people's opinions or standards. And watch out, because you will end up being a force of nature. And let me tell you something, authenticity is liberating. It liberates you from the burden of wearing a mask or pretending to be someone you're not, and it really gives you the ability to express your own thoughts and feelings honestly. Authenticity is so damn powerful. Just be prepared for one thing. The more authentic you are, the more unapologetic that you are in showing up fully as you, people will exit your life. People will leave. Friends that maybe once wanted something from you or liked who you were, that version of you, may not be your friends any longer. But the beautiful part is when that happens, it gives space for the right people to enter, for people to love and accept you for who you actually are and not who you're trying to be to fit into some box that society says you need to live in. This brings us to principle 3. Set healthy boundaries. The let them philosophy is going to require you to set and maintain healthy boundaries in your relationships. This also includes respecting others' boundaries as well. This is such an important part of life. Like, so many things I missed out on, or I lost a little level of my authenticity, or I worried too much about other people's opinions because I didn't have proper boundaries around what was okay and what was not. Setting boundaries will not just prioritize your well-being, but it helps you make choices that best serves your best interest. It frees you from being overly influenced by the opinions of others, their demands, their expectations, or just what's going on with the Joneses. And that brings us to principle 4, creating inner validation. Guys, relying on inner validation rather than external validation is such a key component to not just the let them mindset, but to really having happiness and fulfillment in life. And now this is easier said than done. Simple is not always easy. But why is this one so tough? Because it will require you to recognize your worth. It will require you to be your own source of approval. It will empower you to make choices that resonate with your values and your standards, which will also remove blame from the equation. Because when you have personal ownership of your life, you then can't blame others for your current circumstances. Responsibility for your own inner validation will free you from this never-ending emotional roller coaster of seeking support, seeking approval, seeking praise, all of that external validation. Which brings us to number 5, which is letting go of control. And I know these are all so hard, it's easier to talk about them than to actually implement them. But letting go of the need to control others' beliefs, opinions, or actions towards you. If they question your intentions, let them. Don't try to convince them otherwise. If they think you got lucky in your business with money or relationship, let them. Let them have opinion without allowing it to shake you to your core and rattle your self-belief. Instead, focus on the people who really see you, who really value you and celebrate you. If they didn't invite you to the party, include you in the dinner, let them. Instead, focus on spending time with those who appreciate your presence. If they didn't ask you to be a part of something that they did, even though you invited them to be a part of something you did, I know this is hard, but let them. Instead, focus on deepening connections and relationships with people who genuinely value your friendship. By letting them, it allows you to focus on what you can change, which is really only yourself and your reactions. Letting them also frees you from frustration, resentment, and anger of trying to change things beyond your control. We can't control their thoughts or their actions or their beliefs. We can only control our own. And when you really own that as a core principle, it will give you the ability to respond to situations more calmly, make more thoughtful decisions, and it will end up freeing you in your life. There is so much unnecessary stress and turmoil that comes from trying to please everyone and trying to control everything. And something beautiful will happen when you let them have their opinions, when you let them have their own beliefs, when you let them have their own action, you regain control of your own. And in turn are able to live in a way that is truly aligned with who you are, your beliefs, and the true vision and calling that you have on your life. All right, guys. I wanted to just drop this quick little episode for you because I thought it was so powerful. In a world where we are constantly seeking external validation, how do we let people have their opinion of us and not feel like we have to settle the score? It's just one way that if you instill this philosophy in your life, I promise that your happiness, your fulfillment will increase, and your stress and your overwhelm will decrease. That's all for today's episode. Please let me know in the comments if you like this. Tag or DM me on social. Leave us a review so that we can continue to bring you more amazing guests and topics on the show. That's all for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.